Hello, everyone. Welcome to Current Events. I'm Tony Leon, your host. Let's get right into our topic of the day. Will, Jada, and Chris. What really happened? I bet everybody's wondering what really happened. It got to be at this point because I've been hearing only, "Oh, he was wrong. He did this." Let's get past the obvious. Okay, he was wrong. He should not have done that. Everybody will admit that. We don't have to keep on talking about it throughout eternity. Let's get past that. Okay. Everywhere I'm hearing, "Oh, he was wrong. He's this, he's that." I was sickened when I heard it and I saw it and all that kind of stuff. Okay. The shock and the awe. Okay. It should have wore off right now. What are we going to do? Continue to ostracize him because of what he did? No, let's try to find out what happened. Where did this all come from? You know, people think, "Oh, it was Chris telling a joke. It was just a joke." You know what? I'm going to show you all something. It was deeper than just a joke. This goes back. And some other people have been talking about it on the internet right now, too. And I've been looking at some of the people in their comments, some of the people who have been presenting shows and, having some, pundits on there and talking about, okay, so what's your take on it? What's your take on it? And it's split. And I think right now it's about 50-50. People are for, people are against. I don't think we should be for what Will did, but I don't think we should be against what Will did. I think what we should do is try to understand what Will did. At least we should get to that point, because can you imagine somebody snap off, or can you imagine somebody said, "That's it, they're fed up, enough is enough"? What if it was that? The enough is enough, because no one is asking that. What was the enough is enough? What did Chris Rock do that said, "Oh, that's it, you crossed the line"? Well, anyway, let's go over some articles. This first article I want to go over to bring some context. This one right here. This was from the New York Daily News, and this happened April 2nd. It was Denzel Washington says he and Tyler Perry prayed with Will Smith after Oscar slap. The only solution was prayer. Now let's think about this. This is Denzel Washington. Remember, he's been nominated for all kinds of Academy Awards. Remember Glory, Malcolm X, and Training Day. Can't forget that one. But this is what's interesting. He's been there, done that, and wrote the book on it. And every time I hear Denzel Washington speak, to people, it's always uplifting, and it's always basically giving people words of encouragement. So I knew when he had pulled Will Smith to the side, or he was talking to Will Smith on the side, even with Tyler Perry, and I think it was Bradley Cooper, it was words of encouragement. It had to be. It couldn't have been, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." No, that wasn't that moment for that. "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." It was more like, "Hey, in other words, we got to get through this." So anyway, let me bring some context to this thing. So let me read this article. It says Denzel Washington spoke publicly about the Oscars slap for the first time on Saturday, revealing that he and Tyler Perry prayed with Will Smith shortly after the shocking incident. Now, during a commercial break after the now infamous moment when Will Smith slapped comedian Chris Rock over a joke involving Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, some stars were seen comforting the King Richard star, meaning Will Smith. Okay. Among them were Washington, Denzel Washington, Perry, Tyler Perry, and Bradley Cooper, according to a video that circulated on social media after the incident. This is the part I want to bring out. Smith, who went on to win his first Academy Award last night, had already shared Washington's words of wisdom with the world during his 5-minute acceptance speech. Now, this is what Will said. "Thank you, D," Denzel. He told a still stunned crowd. "Denzel said to me a few minutes ago," he said, this is what Will Smith said, "at your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you." Now, this is Denzel telling Will Smith this and giving him some words of wisdom and saying, in other words, when you at your highest, the devil, he tries to knock you down. So, you got to be careful. But at the same time, he added, "Who are we to condemn?" Now, this is Denzel Washington saying, "Who are we to condemn?" Don't judge lest ye be judged. If anything, we're supposed to lift up our brothers when they down. That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking, But when you think about it, he was put down. We're going to go over some definitions too so we can bring more context to this thing. Like I said, he added, who are we to condemn? This is Denzel Washington. I don't know all the ins and outs of this situation, but I know the only solution was prayer. The way I saw it, the way I see it. That's what he said. After nearly a week of think pieces, social media frenzy, and global headlines, Smith resigned. Now, a lot of people probably didn't know that. Smith, this is Will Smith. He resigned from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, saying in a statement that his, and I quote, actions at the 94th Academy Awards presentation were shocking, painful, and inexcusable. This is what Will Smith said. So he's owning up to what he did. It says the 53-year-old actor, producer, and rapper went on to say that he is heartbroken and that he wants to, and I quote, put the focus back on those who deserve attention for their achievements and allow the Academy to get back to the incredible work it does to support creativity and artistry in film. Now, this is what Will Smith said. Now, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people were condemning Will Smith. I mean, a lot. I don't even know how many. All I know is that it's like 50-50. I keep hearing people condemning him. I mean, people like Roland Martin, people like this Dr. Ritchie condemning him, say he was wrong. He was okay. Can we get past the fact that he was wrong? Everybody knows he was wrong. What, they need your approval to say he was wrong? Of course he was wrong. We just need to find out what happened, because I'm picking up, it's deeper than that. That's why I'm gonna bring out what really happened between this situation. And if you all can bear with me, you're gonna see more context. So let's see something here. Okay. What I'm picking up is this thing has been going on for a long time, and it was like bottled up. You know how like you hit the rim or the cup of your indignation, and it's like, oh, that's it, last straw. And then you just kind of snap. Not that you snap as far as your emotional well-being and you lose your mind. That wasn't the case. I'm not condoning what he did. Of course not. But when you think about it, when he walked up to that stage and slapped him, he actually did slap him. I mean, I thought it was a routine at first. I think most of us did. But when he did it, it was kind of a weird moment that if you could just think and read between the lines, you would say that wasn't a real violent moment. It was a shock and awe moment, but it wasn't a violent moment, because if he was up there to say, you know what, that's it, and he wanted to just take him out, it would have been more than a slap. It would have been an exchange in blows from Rock to Smith, back and forth, and they would have had to pull them apart, and both of them probably would have ended up in jail. Now, technically speaking, and this is kind of weird, a lot of people didn't know this, the producers had approached Chris Rock, and they asked him, what you want to do? Because technically, they called the cops. And the cops were like, what you want to do? Because technically, Will Smith, he broke the law. It was just one of those things where there need to be some press charges. And I think they kind of pushed Chris Rock to press charges. And Chris Rock was like, no, it's all right. Because I think at that point, Chris Rock realized that, you know what? I don't want to make a bad situation worse. And I think that was a very wise move for him, because it would have just really went out of hand. Oh, Will Smith got arrested, and oh, that's terrible and stuff like that, And I think it should have brought focus on that. It should have brought focus to the fact that he slapped him, but why? Instead of just, oh, he slapped him, he was wrong, and he deserved to go to jail. I mean, technically, I guess he could have deserved to go to jail because, there was battery, assault. But if you bring it in context, it wasn't an exchange of blows. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that he did not lose it to the point where he said, that's it, and then he just beat him up. It was more like a slap, and he walked right back to his seat. Now, that's kind of weird, because when he walked back to his seat, it was one of those moments where you're like, okay, it didn't end there, because Chris Rock was still standing there and trying to make sense out of what happened. And then Will Smith brought more context. He said, leave my wife's name out your blank mouth. Okay, in case you didn't hear it the first time, he said it again and much louder. Leave my wife's name out your blank mouth. Now, what is he saying? He's saying, leave his wife's name out your blank mouth. A lot of people miss that. They just look at it and say, oh, he slapped him. No, no, no. What was he saying? Enough is enough. Stop it already. Can you leave this thing alone? Leave us out of your jokes. Leave us out. I mean, I know you can't control a person and their jokes and stuff like that. And it's kind of weird when you're dealing with comedians. Comedians say some of the most grotesque things at times. I get it. But it was one of those things where when you go and bring out the context about this history that Chris Rock has, not just with Jada and Will, with other people. I mean, he did mention Spike Lee. He did mention him. And I'm going to bring that out right now because I wanted to show you all what happened back in 2016. Now, this is important because this will bring more context to where it came from and why it happened. This was, what was it, the 88th Oscars, I believe. And he was basically doing the monologue, the opening for the ceremony. And it's kind of weird because if you see him back then and you see him now, it's basically the same Chris. It's just that it started somewhere. You know, Chris, he's very edgy and he says things that are so, he said that. It's a shock and awe. He's a shock and awe comedian. He says some things like, but it's mostly shock and awe, in my opinion, against the black race. I hate to say it like that because he doesn't usually say shock and awe things about white people. Not really. And if he did, I must have missed those episodes or whatever. So I want you to see this opening monologue. And what I did to bring more context, I got a little disgusted emoji at the parts that I thought were disgusting because he's just very disgusting at times. I mean, a lot of people would admit that. I mean, like, again, I don't condone violence. I don't condone Will doing what he did, but it's one of those things where enough is enough. So let's start where that enough is enough was. And trust me, 2016 is not where it began. Oh, it began way before that. And I'm gonna bring that out too. But let's roll this clip right now so people can see what I'm talking about.
Why
and I might
are we
pause
protesting? That's the big question. Why this Oscars? Why this Oscars? You know, it's the 88th Academy Awards. It's the 88th Academy Awards, which means this whole no black nominees thing has happened at least 71 other times. Okay? You gotta figure that it happened in the 50s, in the 60s. In the 60s, one of those years, Sydney didn't put out a movie. I'm sure there were no black nominees some of those years, say 62 or 63, and black people did not protest. Why? Because we had real things to protest at the time, you know? We had real things to protest. You know, we're too busy being raped and lynched to care about who won Best Cinematographer.
I just want to start off with the first disgusting thing that he said. A lot of people do this. They'll excuse one disgusting thing over another. I'm not that type of person. I like to say, okay, that's disgusting, but, you know, why did he say it? Or was it appropriate? Or, you know, should it have been said at all or whatever? But what he said right there, in my opinion, he shouldn't have said. He's making reference to our struggle. And I'm talking about the black struggle in the 60s. And everybody knows. And when I say everybody knows, I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking about Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, and white Americans. They all know our struggle. I mean, come on, from Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and everyone else who basically NAACP and everybody else who is basically in the struggle, okay? Even right now in the struggle. But then Chris Rock is trying to make light about our struggle. And I hate to say it, he did, because he's making a joke about being lynched and raped. You know, because a lot of men got lynched, a lot of women got raped, and there was no justice. You know, this is terrible because he's looking at it like, yeah, let me talk about this because I need to bring light about our situation. But you got to remember, these people are laughing. Did you take that into account? Are they laughing and saying, ha, 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 as in like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Or they're laughing and say, "Huh, it was just a joke and it sounded funny." But you got to remember, they're laughing at the expense of what is being said, not just because you're funny. You got to think about what you're saying is very important because you're planting a seed that it's funny to be lynched and it's funny to be raped. That's how I took it. I mean, I want to hear some comments from you all, but keep that in mind. He's probably thinking, oh, of course not. It's not funny to be lynched and raped. Yeah, but you got to remember, you're a comedian, you got a platform. And when you're saying things like that, people are going to take it all kinds of ways. And you don't know how they're going to take it. That's why you got to be very careful when you have this platform, you present stuff. That was inappropriate. I want to hear your comments on that, but let's continue this.
You know, when your grandmother's swinging from a tree, it's really hard to care about best documentary foreign short.
Oh, stop. I probably should have let the whole thing play on that part. Okay. I get it. He's bringing light about the fact that our struggle's there, but still, they're still laughing. I know you're probably thinking, okay, but you know, it's the venue and stuff like that. I get it, but it's very dangerous because as they're laughing, they're thinking about ha ha ha. I mean, I don't know how you all thinking, but lynching, raping, and then he brought out some specifics about the lynching. Your grandma. So women were being lynched as well. Ha ha ha. It's disgusting. If you all don't think it's disgusting, no, take that back. I know you all think it's disgusting. It's just they be like, well, you know, it's a joke. Okay, whatever. Let's continue.
But what happened this year? What happened? People went mad. You know, Spike got mad.
Stop. Spike got mad. Like, you know, you get upset. Okay. Now follow these words. I'm looking at like Easter eggs or something. Spike got mad. Okay, continue that.
Got mad, and Jada went mad, and Will went mad. Everybody went mad.
Stop.
You know?
Jada went mad. Will went mad. They weren't mad as in they're upset. They went mad that like they lost their mind. I mean, come on. I'll be paying attention to stuff like this. And if y'all don't be seeing this stuff, y'all gonna be seeing it now because people need to talk about this. This is messed up. I know he probably thinking, well, I wasn't thinking exactly what I was saying. You know what? It was scripted. That Oscars was scripted just like this Oscars was scripted. And when he said those things, he said it because it was part of his pay. I'm going to say these things because I'm getting paid. Now, who approved the script? The Academy. They approved this script because he would not have stood up there all this time and said the things he said unless he got the approval of the Academy. And now, when he said those things, I didn't hear the Academy saying, wait a minute, let's go ahead and say, okay, Chris, okay. In other words, like, leave that alone or something to give some type of indication. Okay, you hit some really sensitive points. Okay, let's tone it down. No, because it was all approved script. Oh, y'all think I'm kidding? No, that was approved script. He wasn't saying all that stuff off the top of his head. I know he can ad lib and stuff, but all that was part of the script. This is bad to me. And it's weird because I'm not even going into all of the other stuff because it's so upsetting to me because I'm looking at it like, you know what? That's why people keep saying, oh, Chris Rock, he's a sellout. Yeah, of course he's a sellout. I mean, why would I say he's not a sellout when he is? For him to stand up there and represent us, our people, meaning black people, Negro, and be able to say things that are so degrading in the way he has for the entertainment of, I hate to say this, of white people, because most of the people in there were white. I mean, I know you had John Legend in there and his wife and stuff like that, but the bottom line is you just basically had all these people in there laughing at his jokes about the struggle, the terrible struggle that we went through. And then he was referring to the 60s and stuff. I'm going to keep this on your mind. But at the same time, as I continue to go on, I got to keep pointing these things out because Jada and Will went mad. That was so degrading right there. That means they just lost their mind. That's what he's saying. I mean, he didn't stutter. He said Spike got mad, but Jada and Will went mad. You don't think that was degrading? Please continue.
It's quite like Jada got mad.
Nice.
Jada says she's not coming, protesting. I'm like, is she on a TV show? Jada's gonna boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited.
Pause. See, it's kind of like three things I want to bring out that I noticed that when people do things, I guess to degrade their people, it's basically against their race. In this case, it would be the black race, their abilities, and also their efforts. Yeah, their efforts. And when you thought about the protest, you probably didn't give too much thought on it. I kind of didn't either. I wasn't sure what was going on because unless you're in Hollywood and you're an A-list actor or actress, you probably don't know. Only they probably really knew, unless you were watching the news all the time. But we can't take away the fact that they did it. Just like people protest all the time. You can't take away from the fact that they can do that. It's an expression. And when they do that, it's something that should be honored, the fact that you had that right. Not to take away from it. So he kind of took away, no, not kind of, he did. He took away from it by basically saying, Jada, you're in TV. Now, Jada was in movies before. But she did have a great TV show. One of them was called Hawthorne. I remember that. Even my twin sister, we both liked the show. My wife liked it. We used to watch it regularly until they, I guess they ended it. But the bottom line is she is a great actor. And the thing is, she was in movies. Okay. A lot of them were like in the 90s and stuff like that. And then she raised a family. But why take away from the fact that she's doing something that she believes in, meaning this protest? Okay. I think it was, her right, and it should be honored. And Will was by her side to do that. And then she didn't go to the Oscars. And then he makes light of it and say, you weren't invited. That's what he was saying. I'm sorry. He did say that. You weren't invited. She could have came if she wanted to. But why would you bring, you weren't invited? Like, we didn't want you anyway. That's how I'm taking it. I don't know how Jada's taking it, but she's probably taking it along the same lines as I am. And I'm pretty sure Will's listening to this and said, this clown, he's degrading my wife. And I got to put up with this. And he wasn't there. Will was not there. Okay. And then Jada's trying to stand by her husband's side because her husband was up for an Oscar. Let's check that out.
But I understand, I'm not hating. I understand you're mad. Jada's mad. Her man, Will, was not nominated for Concussion. I get it. Tell the truth. I get it. You get mad. Said it's...
Because that was a kind of like a line that he said in Concussion. Tell the truth. Because he was African. I got a crack on me because of my African accent, whatever, on one of my episodes that's not aired anymore. Okay, but the bottom line is, here you have Will. He was not nominated. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't even nominated for the Oscars. I know he got a Golden Globe and he got some other awards for that role. Yes, that's great. And I'm going to tell you something. I saw it with my wife, and it was a great role for him. And he did very well in that role, and it was good. It was a good movie, and it was on some heavy topic, dealing with this concussion thing in the NFL. But what I'm saying is that you're bringing light to this. Should Will Smith have gotten an Oscar? Some people say, he should have gotten an Oscar. I'm the type of person. I'm like, you know what? I feel like I know Oscar. I'm not saying that he didn't deserve an Oscar, but he definitely deserved to be nominated. Definitely. It's a high honor to be nominated. See, I'm the type of person, Oscar. I know Oscar. Even back in the day, I think it was like 2009. Yeah. There was this movie called The Blind Side. Now, even before it was, buzz and stuff, I saw the movie with my wife, and I'm like, this movie. And then I said, Sandra Bullock? I said, no. This is Oscar worthy. No. I said, she's going to win the Oscar. I wrote even a little blurb on IMDb, basically breaking down Oscar. They weren't even talking about the Oscars yet. I said, no, I'm telling you, she's gonna win the Oscar. Oscars wasn't even nowhere around in sight as far as the time. And then finally Oscar time come around. All this buzz about Sandra Bullock getting the Oscar. And lo and behold, she got the Oscar. Best Actress. I just knew it. You know how you just know? I knew it. Because I know Oscar. Just like, this is a little off the subject, but just like when Avatar came out, I said, oh yeah, Oscar. James Cameron, boom, yeah. He's going to get the Oscar for Avatar. His wife won. Now, I'm not trying to knock her, but The Hurt Locker, if you ever seen even the first 10 minutes, you'll be wondering, I wonder why they were thinking that. I think that year they were celebrating women in Hollywood. I think that's what it was. But that's unfair to him because he had such a great movie. But moving on, let's continue this thing with the Oscars.
It's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West, okay?
Okay. Stop. Pause. See, this is what I'm talking about. You just degraded him again. I didn't know he got paid $20 million for a movie like that. But the thing is, he got paid. That's good. You got paid $20 million. I'm picking up, you know what? Whether you thought the movie was bad or not, you know what? I feel like you deserve everything you get if you can get it in Hollywood. I mean, the movie wasn't bad. I don't know why he's looking at it like, oh, it was a bad movie. You know what? Will Smith, whatever he gets, I feel like he kind of deserves it because he fought for it. He worked at it, And okay, if he got it and somebody else didn't, okay, so what's it to you? Why are you so upset that, you think he didn't deserve getting $20 million for a movie? I'm like, man, if you can get it, great. I mean, why are you even making light of him and his achievements and his abilities? See, that's what I'm saying. This is how we keep on perpetuating, keeping our people down because we don't esteem them and we don't lift them up. I just wanted to mention that. Okay.
Things, this year the Oscars, things are going to be a little different. Things are going to be a little different at the Oscars. This year, in the in memoriam package, it's just going to be black people that were shot by the cops on their way to the movies.
No, stop. I'm sorry. No, go back to that scene. Look at the scene. I don't know what you all are thinking, but I'm thinking, okay, if black people, I don't even know how to say this, but okay, if black people are getting shot going to the movies. Now, I'm not even saying it in a real thing, but I'm just saying the fact that you're saying it. And we're getting shot going to the movies. And these are the people that you're going to see, Matt Damon and whoever else. And like I said, John Legend is there. I mean, he's not a movie star, but he's right behind. Look, I don't know if you can see. You see his wife, though. Go back to the scene. See, okay, that's Matt Damon. And then you see Tegan, right? But then you see a little shoulder. You probably don't even see it. But that's John Legend. Of course, it's right next to his wife. Okay, moving on. So I'm thinking, why are you making light? I mean, no, I get it. I do. I was trying to make sense out of it. He's a comedian. He's a black comedian, a sellout black comedian. And he basically will say things that are edgy and shock and awe relating to his people. That's what he does. And who is the butt end of the joke? We are, the black people, not any particular person. And then at the same time, who's laughing? The black people ain't really laughing. They might look and smirk. Let's go back to that scene real quick. Because look at her look. The look she has like, That's a look like, That wasn't like, ha ha. Oh, matter of fact, there's some white people in there saying, that wasn't too cool. I'm not even sure if Matt Damon was like, he might have been like that too. Like, like, I don't know if that's really funny. Okay, so, that scene might not justify the fact that they're laughing at us. They might be like, okay, you kind of going a little low there with your people. Okay, I'm not going to keep stopping because I want to finish this. Okay, let's go.
Yes, I said it, all right? Hey, if you want black nominees every year, You need to just have black categories. That's what you need. You need to have black categories. If you want black people every year at the Oscars, just have black categories like best black friend. That's right. And the winner for the 18th year in a row is Wanda Sykes. This is Wanda.
What's up? Now, I don't know if y'all heard this. Wanda Sykes, she was on I think she was on Ellen DeGeneres, I think. And she had mentioned that she was sick when it happened, the slap. And it was like, oh, she was sick and, she was disgusted and stuff like that. And it's kind of weird because I think Chris Rock and her are friends. I mean, because I think she was on his show and stuff like that. Yeah. So they're friends. I get it. Okay, that's cool. But it's kind of weird because you're the butt end of a joke. Wanda Sykes, friends with Chris Rock. You're the butt end of this joke. The fact that, oh, you're the friend, like you got the token black person that's in a movie or something like that, you're like that. And you get an Oscar for that. Just being a friend. You're the butt end of a black joke by your friend, Chris Rock. Just wanted to mention that.
18th black Oscar. But here's the real question. The real question everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know in the world, is Hollywood racist? Is Hollywood racist? That's you got to go at that the right way. Is it Burning Cross racist? No. Is it fetch me some lemonade racist? No. It's a different type of racist. Now, is Hollywood racist? Yeah, right, Hollywood's racist. What's your definition?
Okay, come on. That was painful for me to get through. And that was back in 2016. It's weird because I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I wanted you all to see what really happened. That happened. Can you imagine year after year after year after year after year after year after year, and then you back full circle, boom, here you are again. This ain't Concussion. Now he's doing a movie where he is actually the father, I think, of Serena Venus. It's weird because I didn't see the movie and I'm going to see the movie because I keep hearing good things. I already know Will Smith's a great actor. So I'm going to see that movie. I might even do another follow-up with this and give you my review on that movie, possibly, because I know it's good. Okay, but the thing is, here you have this time around, he's up for the Oscar, nominated. Yay. I didn't know he was going to win. I mean, come on, you had Denzel up. You had two black actors up for Best Actor. How often does that happen? I mean, maybe the time when you had, I think it was Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington, and probably some other ones. So you had different actors who are black that just are Oscar caliber. Okay. Anyway, it's kind of weird because after that joke, the G.I. Jane joke or whatever, and it's kind of weird because let's go to the context of what I said. It went before this so-called 2016. Chris Rock made a movie. I mean, I'm not talking about that other movie where he was in and you're like, okay. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about he made a documentary, and usually documentaries in general are good. I mean, they're just informative and they bring context to whatever your subject matter is. So what I wanted to bring out was this. This article came out Newsweek, and this was March 28th. Okay. So this was the title. Chris Rock's Good Hair documentary doesn't jibe with his Oscars alopecia joke. Okay, because that's what Jada had. And in case you all didn't know what alopecia was or is, it's basically where you lose your hair. Okay, and they said it's an autoimmune condition. Okay, and it comes out in plugs and and things of that nature. So it's kind of like a nuisance to have something like that. And not just that. Can you imagine a woman's hair is like her glory? And I don't care what nationality you are. When you lose your hair, that's really, really, depressing. I'm sorry. It just is. So here you have Chris Rock in this article. And I'm going to try to read the whole thing. It's not that long, but I'm going to try to read through it so you can kind of see what's happening. Because Remember I told you that 50-50 thing? Like some people see that what Will did was wrong. And then some people see that Will did was wrong, but they can understand why he did it. Okay, so here we go. The biggest irony of the Chris Rock and Will Smith spat at the 2022 Oscars is that Rock produced an entire documentary about the importance of hair in the black community and then joked about a black woman's hair loss. Just that alone was mind blowing because I'm looking at like back in 2009, you made this documentary about black people and their hair, you know, because your daughter said something. I'm going to read that part. But then here you come 2022. And in real life and in living color, you make a joke about somebody you kind of taunted for years already. You think her husband's just going to sit there and just say, ha, ha, ha. He's like, wait a minute. You saw the look on Jada's face. She was like, oh, she was so disgusted. And I'm just thinking because people say, oh, but did you see after he slapped? Look how she's laughed. I mean, I ain't trying to justify nothing, but I can kind of see her laughing was more like maybe some type of relief, like, oh, somebody's going to shut him up or whatever. I mean, again, I keep saying it. I don't condone violence, but I'm talking about I can see why it happened. Okay, moving on. Rock produced, narrated, and co-wrote the Good Hair documentary, which was released in 2009. The film is back in the limelight after Rock appeared to make a joke on stage about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair loss related to alopecia, a topic explored in the documentary. I forgot about that because I haven't seen it in so long, resulting in a televised confrontation with Smith. The film explores the way hairstyles impact the activities, pocketbooks, sexual relationships, and self-esteem of the black community, according to an official synopsis. And matter of fact, after I read this, I want to show you that. Okay? Well, meaning the trailer is kind of damning if you think about it. It says the documentary came into vision when Rock's daughter asked him, because that was in the little synopsis. It said, Daddy, that's what she says, Daddy, why don't I have good hair? So the film follows Rock engaging in frank, funny conversations with hair care professionals, beauty shop, and barbershop patrons. While struggling to respond to his daughter's question, the synopsis said, while presenting the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature in this, 2022, Rock made an insensitive joke about Pinkett Smith's hair, or lack thereof, which her husband Smith didn't appreciate. Who would? Rock joked, and I quote, Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane too. Can't wait to see it. Referencing the 1997 film G.I. Jane, in which actress Demi Moore shaves her head to join the U.S. Navy. Okay, so that's what the reference is, in case you all didn't know what G.I. Jane was. It was a real movie. Okay. Smith got up from his seat, smacked Rock across the face, and shouted, meaning after he went back to his seat, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Colorful words, of course. Okay, and then he said it again, real loud. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. Colorful words, of course. And I was like, what? I said, oh, he really meant that, because he said it twice. Now, a lot of people didn't catch that. They're just in shock and awe. Now, I was like, what's really happening here? See, Chris Rock crossed the line, and he kept Will Smith's wife, meaning Jada Smith's name, in his mouth back in 2016 and now in 2022. I mean, like, at what point you going enough is enough? Yeah, people say, well, he could have handled it more civilized, like Roland Martin said. He could have sat down with him. And yes, that's true, but he didn't. I mean, I'm picking up this right quick. Let me say this real quick. I'm picking up, I believe Will Smith was prepared for the consequences. Oh, take that back. The potential consequences for his actions. I believe he was prepared for that. He was prepared for possibly Chris Rock pressing charges and him possibly being arrested. I think he was prepared for that. He was prepared, I believe, for paying a fine. whatever the fine may be. I believe he was prepared. I believe he was prepared for the Academy to have some type of sanctions against him, even possibly maybe losing his Oscar. I believe he was prepared. I believe he was prepared also for the media blowback. Yeah, I believe he was prepared for that too. And I believe he was prepared also for the public blowback. Yeah. Like, it was like he just put it all on the line and did it. Because, like I just read earlier, he resigned from the Academy. That's major. I mean, you at the prime. You are at the top of your career. I mean, your status. When you get an Oscar, you're like, you have arrived. When you get to that point, that's it. Game over. I'm it. I'm the stuff, so to speak. But it's weird because he like, you know what? I'm trying to give a message. I think he was more like trying to give a message that, you know what? Our people need to stop bringing ourselves down. We need to stop pitting against one another. I'm going to finish this, but I wanted to show you all what is the definition of pit, because that's exactly what I'm picking up. Let's go over here right quick. To pit, to set someone or something in conflict or competition with. And I think that is what I think Will Smith was basically saying. We need to stop pitting against one another. Probably say, look at the irony though, because he basically kind of went after Chris Rock, with a slap. It was more like a enough is enough slap. That's what I'm picking up. I don't condone it. You shouldn't do those type of things. But I believe Will Smith was prepared for the consequences, potential consequences. Yes, I believe that. And when you're prepared for the potential consequences, you're more like, I ain't got nothing to lose because I know what to possibly expect. And that's kind of weird because some people want to say, well, he shouldn't have done it because, his career is over with. He probably is prepared that his career might be possibly over with. Have you ever asked that question? So as far as I'm concerned, I read between the lines and I say, you know what? That's a man with a purpose. And I feel like when he did that, it was more like my career is not over. My career has probably just begun because I'm on point. I'm on message. Because Chris Rock need to realize what he did. He crossed the line years ago and continued to cross the line year after year after year. I mean, he even said things in his stand-up routines about, how being an Uber driver is beneath. I remember he did that and a lot of people in the audience weren't laughing because he says things so edgy and so derogative and so degrading against his own people. But I want you all to understand, it's really degradation. So let's look at that definition right quick. Degradation, the act of lowering something or someone to a less respected state. Now, that's what Chris Rock does. He's a degrading person. He degrades his people and people laugh at it all the time. But who are laughing more than anyone else? I hate to say it. White people. They're laughing at us. Or how about this? They're laughing at him about us. So we need somebody to degrade us. So we need somebody. I ain't saying that they're white people are saying this, but it almost seems like it. We need somebody to degrade the black people. And what better person can we get that can sell out to this concept? Chris Rock. Because he's edgy and he will do that. And he did. He's like, I'll do it. And then he did it over and over and over and over again. Even this documentary, this is ridiculous. I want to finish this because I want you to understand this, because he has this history of constantly degrading his people. Not just Jada and Will. He targeted them and basically he didn't expect any blowback. He didn't expect any blowback whatsoever. Or did he? Let me continue. Okay. So the notion of good hair versus bad hair in the black community stems from kinkier textures not being accepted in mainstream views of beauty. Brenda Randall, assistant professor in the College of Media and Communication at Arkansas State University, has long studied the meaning of hair in relation to black women. Okay. Good hair is often considered hair that is straight, silky, and without tangles. Let me say this. You ever see those commercials where a woman doing her hair like this? And you're like, wow, It looks luxurious. She just happens to be white. But then sometimes you'll see other nationalities with nice hair doing that. You're like, wow. And I ain't gonna lie, it looks beautiful. It's flowing and it's glorious, okay? You can't do that with kinky hair. Everybody knows that. That's kind of a weird thing because it's a topic that we just really don't talk about. But it's kind of weird because I asked people, I did little surveys and stuff to try to figure what people are thinking about, kinky hair. Okay, it's Negro hair, okay? Because I hate Negro hair. But my hair, it's been relaxed and held back in a ponytail. And I'm glad for it. And the reason why is because I don't have to worry about my hairstyle. And I hear a lot of people say that I just wear my hair in a ponytail. I'm like, yeah, good for you. Because you ain't got to think about it. I don't think about my hair no more. Like, boom, ponytail, done. I move on. And I'm on to whatever else. I ain't got to think about hair. Because a lot of people put a lot of time in hair. You hear me? A lot of people put time in their hair. I ain't say black people. A lot of people. I mean, all nationalities. They got to fix their hair and do all kinds of things to their hair. A lot of people wear ponytail. They ain't gonna do nothing but like, boom, ponytail, done. Okay? That's about it. Okay. So, now, like I said, good hair is often considered hair that is straight, silky, and without tangles. Therefore, if the texture of African Americans' hair is thick, kinky, and curly, does society view it as bad hair? Man, y'all got to see this little clip. But anyway, Randall stated in her essay, and I quote, "I am not my hair. African American women and their struggles with embracing natural hair." End of quote. Okay, that's her essay. Along with beauty continuum, the presence or absence of kinky hair texture can make the difference between being attractive and unattractive, accepted or unaccepted, Randall continued. Taking the history of black hair into account, along with Rock's insensitive joke, people took to social media calling him out for his inconsistencies. And they were saying things like this. It says, Chris Rock made a whole documentary about black women's hair because of his daughter's feelings. Black writer Tor said on Twitter, "Good hair was amazing." That's what he said, meaning about the documentary. I tend to differ. And it says, after that, making fun of a woman for not having hair is kind of wild and reckless. See? So people starting to wake up and start realizing, wait a minute, maybe that slap came from somewhere. It didn't just come from that one joke about G.I. Jane. No, a lot of people are like, oh, it was just a joke. Yeah, it was a joke. But do you know the history of Chris Rock and against not just Jada, but his people? Look at this. People on social considered Rock's joke to be in bad taste, considering his daughter's personal struggle with her kinky hair, meaning her own kinky hair. The irony in all of this, I find, and this is a quote, is that Chris Rock made a documentary titled Good Hair in 2009 after realizing his daughter thought she didn't have good hair. Journalist Tiffany Mongu tweeted. Then, many years later, joking about a black woman and her hair is just weird to me. Me too. This is weird. And that's just some light words. That's words I guess I kind of would use. But I would use a little bit more colorful words. It's just wrong. I mean, for him to do that. I mean, and we need to call out what's wrong. You know, women need to be esteemed, no matter what race. But I'm going to tell you something. And some people may think this is kind of a weird, and I say the word weird thing for me to say. Black women, in my opinion, need to be esteemed. Definitely by black men. And Chris Rock, he basically flipped the script. He's making the script more like we can continue to degrade our women. See, I didn't say white women need to esteem black women. I said black men need to esteem black women. So when a black man degrades and puts down a black woman because of maybe her hair, her kinky hair, it's kind of weird because, all kinds of races get perms and relaxes and, extensions and braids and things of that nature. They do. They just put a lot of time in their hair. It's just that for some reason, the industry, I hate to say it, it's the truth. Black women and black men, they go both hand in hand, spend more money on their hair than any race in the world. Yeah. People say, how can you say that, Tony? Because it's the truth. Can you imagine a guy? He gets some dreads. A guy. Now, I'm just saying Chicago. Just a guy in Chicago. Get some dreads. Dreadlocks, right? It's going to cost him at least $200 to $600. Now, people say, that's a lot of money. Is that the truth? It's the truth. I'm talking, if you go to a salon and you're getting some dreads. Now, people say, dreads, is that really braids? It's a hairstyle. And that hairstyle is very, very expensive because it takes a lot of time. You know, I guess because of whatever you got to do to it, the wax and things of that nature. And just like women getting braids. Braids can cost anywhere between $80 to $200 for some braids. And then, let alone a weave, that can even get way more expensive. You can spend up to $600 for a weave. In some cases, in the thousands. It just depends on who's doing the weave and what you want. It can get deep. But then the average, perm and set, whatever, can be just about $40 to $80. I mean, and most races will probably do that. I mean, you thinking it's just black people get relaxed and permed hair. No. White people get permed hair. You know, a lot of white women, I mean, I used to drive for Uber. And I had a white woman in my back seat. And she wasn't talking to me. She's talking to a girl. And she was a white woman. She said, oh, girl, you know, when it gets, wet out here, on my hair, it gets frizzy and, kinky and stuff. I'm like, whoa. I'm telling you, when I saw her, I was like, she is a white woman. Like, I ain't talking about like, oh, she's a light-skinned black woman. No, she was a white woman, because I'm telling you, they got genes or something where it's kind of like us, and they got to do same amount of time and effort into keeping up their hair as much as we do. It's just that the focus is now on the esteeming part. I don't think people just put them down, but we need to esteem black women. Correction. Black men need to esteem black women. And what I mean by that is we don't need to degrade them by putting them down because of our hair. It just makes sense to me. But when I show you all this clip, it's quick. Yeah, real quick. It's basically showing you the synopsis in a trailer form of good hair. I'm not going to stop it because I want you all to take it all in, and then I'm going to comment on it real quick. So let it roll.
Definition of good hair.
Something that looks relaxed and nice.
If your hair is relaxed, white people are relaxed. Your hair is nappy, they're not happy. Oh, God.
Just yesterday, my daughter came into the house and said, Daddy, how come I don't have good hair? I wonder how she came up with that idea.
Within the black community, if you have good hair, you're prettier or better than. The lighter, the brighter, the better.
They want to go like this, like Farrah Fawcett.
There's so many pressures to straighten your hair.
Look at my ring, still there? What's in your hair now?
This is a weave.
This is a weave. 2 pieces here,
Like extensions.
like that.
The black hair business is a $9 billion business.
One of these can run you $5,000.
Well, I have a layaway plan.
So you can lay away the weave.
That's right.
Have you ever put your hand through a black woman's hair?
No, not a black woman.
You just don't touch it. Do not touch my weave.
No. Does your wife let you touch her hair?
The question is, do I let her touch mine?
Right now, I have Indian hair.
Human hair is India's biggest export.
Minimum 10 inch to 40.
10 inches and better.
Yes.
In the award-winning new comedy that Vanity Fair calls hilarious.
Has anybody ever tried to steal your hair?
No.
If you see some black women, just run the other way. What I really wanted to know, if I could make any money selling black hair. Black hair! Would you like to buy some black hair?
They don't want to look like, alpha cut like this. You make sure the hair straight, look more natural.
So my nappy hair is not worth anything.
Good hair.
Okay. One thing before I forget that was said was Vanity Fair thought it was hilarious. Vanity Fair is mainly white. So of course it's funny to them. This guy making this documentary about degrading his own black people, black women, and their hair. Of course they thought it was hilarious. This is messed up. I mean, that right there just proves that Chris Rock is a sellout. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's almost like Chris Rock had it coming. I don't condone violence, but I think it's one of those things where who else in Hollywood or in the world would be able to be in such a position. Because remember, Will Smith, he got a heart and stuff. I mean, the movies that he do, especially them documentaries, I mean, not documentaries, those Oscar-worthy movies, it's like, it's deep, you know? So it has to touch his heart on when he's reaching out and stuff like that. And even he apologized. I mean, a lot of people forget that. He apologized. What, you gonna keep on, you know, condemning the guy? I mean, he already apologized, okay? So, like, look at the biblical principle right here. Okay, so in Philippians 2:3, it says, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. This is kind of interesting when you think about esteeming other better than yourself. What does that mean? That means you'll kind of find it within your heart to don't look at yourself high and mighty. You look at yourself lowly, like the quote says. And then you do that, you lift everyone else up. I mean, some people say, well, they didn't lift me up, or they didn't do this. It ain't about you. It's about you, meaning what you gonna do in this situation. You lift others up. And this, just for context, what is esteem? Esteem. Respect and admiration, typically for a person. Respect. I'm sorry, if I had a case and the case was, is Chris Rock disrespectful to his people, Jada, Will, even Spike Lee, because, you know, he was mentioned too, even Denzel Washington, disrespectful to all of them? The answer is an absolute yes. I mean, because he even made fun of Denzel when he was up for the Oscar about King Lear. You know, King Lear ain't got nothing on me. Like, remember, he said King Kong ain't got nothing on me when Training Day or whatever. It's kind of weird because he keeps putting us down. It's kind of weird. It's almost like, who else is going to do it? I don't know. I mean, some other comedian, I guess. But when you keep doing it constantly, you're known for that. You're just not edgy. You're disrespectful. And you are degrading. And you don't esteem. People know he doesn't esteem his people. I have never seen him esteem his people. I've never seen that. It just bothers me how this happened at such a weird time that we need to start, like Jada said. She said it's a time for healing. That's what Jada said. And then she had this red table thing. This is what I would like to see. I would like to see Jada, Will, and Chris sitting at the round table and not just hashing it out, but just basically just giving their thoughts on what they're feeling about all of this. And let us look in on this so that we can get the context. Because a lot of people just like to judge, you know? And when they judge, they just judging. They're not saying, let me get an understanding. Like the Bible says, well, all you're getting, get understanding. I want to get understanding. I really would like to see that, you know, because this is just my take on it. I mean, I could be dead wrong, but I don't think so. I think it has a lot to do with that. It was all built up over these years, and it was like, enough is enough. That's it, last straw. Boom, you crossed the line. That kind of thing. So was it just the G.I. Jane joke? No. If you thought it was just the G.I. Jane joke, you're sadly mistaken, and it's embarrassing if you thought that. That means all you media people out there and all you social media lights and all you other people out there, if you thought that, oh my goodness, it's embarrassing. It wasn't just a joke. It was a history, and it built up, and it was like, pop goes the weasel. Give me your comments and let me know what you think. Like I said, it seemed like this little thing with the comment thing wasn't working exactly, but try it anyway. And then if it ain't going through and you don't see it up there, leave it in the email. Leave it in that email, the one at the bottom of your screen. And when you do that, I will read it and I will see it. And then maybe I can talk about it and bring it up, you know, as a comment, because it's a serious matter. It's not about Chris. It's not about Will. It's not about Jada. It's about us as a people. We hate to say it. It's almost like we need to stick together. Yeah, we need to stick together as a people, you know, all races. I get that. But for some reason, we need to stick together a little bit more because we are the butt end of a joke. We are the butt end of a joke. I mean, I asked people, I asked my wife, I asked my daughter, you know, about how they feel about their hair. And it was weird because it wasn't as exactly like favorable, but it's kind of weird because what if other people feel the same way? I see other YouTube videos. I see guys, you know, young white guys, and they don't feel good about their hair. They got to go to the salon and get a perm. Yeah, these are white guys. So it's kind of one of those things where I get it. Everybody has an esteem issue. Now, this is weird. It's off the subject, but I want to say it anyway. Some people think about Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, why are you mentioning Jeffrey Dahmer? I'm giving an example. People say, oh, Jeffrey Dahmer probably didn't have a father and a mother, but he had a father and a mother. Oh, his father probably was like on drugs or something. His father, I think he was a doctor. He was renowned, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And his mom, but his mom had depression. So she really wasn't focused on raising him. And the dad wasn't nowhere around. So his little Jeffrey, he just hanging out and doing whatever he is. See, our nature is destructive. That's why we got to go above and beyond for the nurturing of our nature. See, that's why it takes a village. And if we all get together and we start esteeming one another higher than ourselves, then we won't worry about the pride. Remember, I always talk about a proud look and stuff. I mean, it's kind of cool because I'm going to esteem Chris Rock right now because he was one of the only few people that stood at the Oscars and say, wow, y'all ain't wearing no mask? Y'all ain't no COVID or something like that? I was like, wow, I was kind of proud of him when he said that. So it's not all, fun and games and jokes and stuff. It's like we should look out for one another. I mean, it's kind of weird because I want to end this on this note, but I do want your comments about this matter. Not, oh, he was wrong. I'm done with all that. Okay. Of course he was wrong. What are we going to keep talking about? He was wrong. I mean, that's the obvious. I think people just keep saying he's wrong. They probably have lower self-esteem. I think that's what's happening. I think people keep talking about it like that. They have low self-esteem. But a person who has an inquiring mind, they really want to know, it ain't about esteem. It's about, let me find out what's going on because it does take a village. Let's work something out. So I want to say this last thing. Because I'm glad I didn't forget. Let's go back to this alopecia thing. Could alopecia be possibly due to COVID? I don't know. Could alopecia be just due to deficiency? I don't know. I can't say for sure. But I will say this. There are deficiency symptoms. I always talked about it on this show, when I talk about zinc and stuff like that. But it's kind of weird because that's one of the deficiency symptoms. Hair loss. For zinc. Yeah. Also for vitamin D. Deficiency symptom, hair loss. Yeah. Iron, deficiency symptom, hair loss. And selenium. That's another trace mineral, hair loss. It's kind of weird because maybe it's something that people need to think about right now, up in your ante when it comes down to iron, zinc, and vitamin D and selenium. Just something to consider. I'm going to be talking about more health things on this show when it comes down to those things, because I do like to deal with deficiency symptoms and, getting your nutrition. I'm a nutrition consultant, but the bottom line is we need to understand that this is a bigger issue than just a butt end of a joke. This is about we need to look out for one another. Your doctor can check your levels because we went to the doctor and we had our levels checked for like vitamin D and our numbers were good. So yes, you can get your numbers checked. I guess they could check for the zinc also and the iron levels, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So check with your doctor about those things because it might be that's the area. We need to become a saboteur sleuth, and see what the saboteurs in our life or things that we are been neglecting to do. Okay. That's just on another note. But anyway, I want to hear your comments. I'm going to end it on that note right now. Thanks for staying with me on this program. It's going to be more to come. Have a nice day.
Stay tuned for the next episode. Leave a comment and share this video. Subscribe to get notifications for future episodes. Thanks for watching.